Hello, work life warriors. Happy Sunday. How are you? How's your weekend going? Please share with me in the comments how's your weekend going? I mean, we are technically about less than 12 hours away from preparing from work. So, what'd you do this weekend? What did you do to de-stress, to make sure that you are ready when your alarm goes off tomorrow? So you can hop out of bed ready to contribute your best self to the world. So, what did you do to add play, fun, joy, laughter to your schedule this weekend? Did you enjoy some outside time? Did you play? Did you have some family time? What did you do? Did you catch up on some TV, some reading? What did you do? I would love to know, what did you do to de-stress, or what are you planning to do? We still have time. So what are you planning to do before tomorrow? So I am going to do part two of the book Unstressable. And a part two, we are going to pick up where we left off last time. As you know, I just kind of go through all of the tabs that I have and kind of discuss what it makes me think about, what it triggers in my mind, and any information that could be useful to you. So last time we ended up on page 7, and I'm going to pick it up right there. We did the first two markers, but what I discovered is I skipped one. So I did the first and third. I am going to go back to the second marker and then rework. So the second marker says, it's talking about stress being preventable and kind of manageable, right? And then they're saying that it is your responsibility, of course, to manage your stress and try to prevent it. And then they gave 3 different ways of doing so. So I am on page 7. It says we will call the model the 3 L's. It's limit, learn, and listen. It says limiting the stresses that you let in your life is easier than you think. It's a bit like driving your precious car carefully so that it stays in good shape and continues to take you where you need to go. Learning is the process of preventative maintenance. It is all about learning the habits that you need to increase your ability and resources when it comes to dealing with stress that you cannot limit. Finally, listening is just that, to keep observing the signs so that you know when something is about to go wrong, when the signs are telling you to do something differently. So let's just go ahead and talk about these 3 different things. So the first is limit. So the big problem that we have with stress today is that we don't even realize that we are experiencing stress. It is so normalized. We don't realize that the symptoms that we're experiencing are stress related. So we do not realize the anxiety, the worry, the anxiety, the backaches, the mental clarity, or the lack of mental clarity, the mental chatter, the upset stomach, the not sleeping, all of these symptoms are tied to stress. We don't understand why we don't want to get up, why we have a sense of dread, why we are ignoring, withdrawing, distracting ourselves more than we normally do. And all of these things have to do with stress, right? It's kind of just a given in our environment that we live in that we will be experiencing stress. And so most people think that it's just something that you can't eliminate, you can't manage, you can't get rid of, which is not actually true. Stress is something that we are not supposed to be experiencing every single day. It makes it chronic, right? It doesn't matter what your perception of stress is, whether it's good for you or bad for you. If you're experiencing chronic stress over a period of time, it is not good for your health and well-being. It is breaking down your body, and it is breaking you down both mentally and spiritually. And so what we want to do is be able to acknowledge the stress that we have in our lives, acknowledge how it's making us feel. Stress is an emotion, so we want to know what the emotion of stress feels like. We also want to know all the other emotions that produce the feeling of stress, right? So negative emotions produce stress. If you are sad, you may be stressed about that. If you are sleepy or anxious, you will be stressed about those things. So bad emotions produce stress. What we want to make sure is that we are limiting the amount of stress that we're having or experiencing every single day. We want to make sure that we go days without experiencing stress so that we're not always experiencing chronic stress or our bodies are reacting to chronic stress. So, what we want to do is limit the amount of stress that we're having, identify what is a stressor, what it feels like emotionally, what it feels like physically, what environments cause you stress, what people make you feel a sense of dread, identifying these things and learning to limit yourself when it comes to them, right? Eliminating what is causing you stress. If that person doesn't feel pleasant to be around that person, to communicate with that person, then eliminate them or limit the time that you spend with them. Same thing with environments. If you cannot eliminate the environments that produce stress, the distress or stress in general, because even if it's good stress, you don't constantly want to feel good stress. So environments that produce chronic stress, you must limit your time in it or eliminate it altogether. And any habits, thoughts, behaviors, beliefs that we have that's contributing to our stress, we must limit them. We must eliminate them or limit them, right? And so we don't think that we can do that. We're in societies filled with stressors. We, deal with stressful people every single day. We experience stressful emotions throughout the day, and we think that it is normal, and we think that we cannot do anything about it. But that is so far from the truth. It's really in acknowledging your stress, learning about what stress is, in order for you to get the practices and tools that you need to eliminate your stressors. So the second one, of course, is learning. Because we have a limited awareness when it comes to stress, what it is, many of us think that we're not experiencing stress, or we think that it's normal. We can't tell that we're experiencing stress, or we're saying everyone experiences stress. It's just something that comes with life. And it's not really anything that we can do about it. We just have to grit and bear and make it through, right? And that's actually not true. You will not make it through. It is said that up to 90% of all doctor visits are for stress related symptoms. And so we are not effectively, adaptively coping with our stressors. We're just not. We are maladaptively coping. We are using practices that are convenient and easy to utilize in short um, periods of time, right? So it may be easier for me to reach for my phone to look at social media during a stressful moment than it is easier access to get up and go outside for a walk or to stretch or to take a laugh break, right? So convenience and access is a big part of that. And it's really just learning what you need to know about stress and learning what type of practices are available to you so that you're able to utilize whatever practice in whatever given situation that can work, right? Because not all practices will work in every situation, but learning to identify what your stresses are, how it is impacting your mind, your body, and your soul, and learning which practice would be effective in the environment that you're in or around the people that you're around or whatever mental thought or experience that you're having, which practice would help to eliminate that, right? There's so many. I remember when I first started stress management, when I first started learning about stress management, I pulled so much information from so many different industries. Many industries have individual ways of dealing with stress, but it may not work in all contexts. Like I just said, in the middle of a very stressful moment, although exercise may be beneficial to stress, it may not be the best thing for me to do in the middle of the workday to go and work out. But I could practice deep breathing, and that could be just as beneficial as, working out or movement. And so it's having a toolbox of practices ready at your disposal, learning your way through different environments, learning different people, learning about yourself. That's the biggest part of stress, is learning how does stress impact your mind, your body, your soul. How do you experience it emotionally? How do you experience it physically, spiritually, right? It's really keeping an eye out on your body and how you show up and how you are interacting with the world and how these things impact you. And then the last one, which is listen. kind of like what I just said. It's listening to your body, listening to the environments that you're in, paying attention to if you wake up happy in the morning, if you feel dread when it's time to go to work, when it's time to be in this environment or with this person. Do you feel happy? Do you feel sad? Do you feel a sense of dread? How does it feel when you have too much to do and not enough time? How does it feel when you have more than enough time and not enough to do, right? Just to kind of put yourself in many different experiences to see how you behave, to see how it impacts your mind, body, and soul. And so a part of the limit, learn, and listen is the willingness to participate, to practice autonomy, to be in the moment where that will in the present moment is the only moment that things can change, because you can't change things in the past, you can't change it in the present. I mean, in the future, you can only change it in the present moment. And so making sure that you're in the present moment so that you can identify when stress is happening to you or around you, so that you can learn what you need to learn about yourself, the environment, the people, whatever practices you need to be able to adaptively cope with stress, and to listen to your body. And because your body is intelligent, it is a machine, it breathes on its own, it digests on its own, it does so many great things without you telling it. And so listening to your machine and understanding it and building a relationship with your machine and how it operates in different environments and with different people. And so stress management really is a job. It's something that you have to proactively do and consciously be aware of. I know it seems like a lot. When I first learned stress management, it seemed like a lot. I thought I could not do that. I do not know how people are doing it. I could not do that, right? But what I realized is that it's just one step at a time, bite by bite. It's stacked on top of each other. It's just one choice after the next, and then it becomes your reality. Just like right now, we may experience stress and may not know the symptoms of it because we have normalized it as a part of our everyday. Once you begin to create a counterculture of wellness, it'll be your everyday. It's not even something that you think about. You will automatically feel when you're stressed, know when you're stressed, and then you'll find yourself reaching for those tools or those practices in autopilot. And that's really what you want to do. Is, since so many of our behaviors and thoughts are unconscious shadow, which means unconscious, or they're in autopilot, we're doing it without being consciously aware. We're trying to replace those habits with habits that are for us, that benefit us, that work with our present moment awareness, so that we can move into the person that we want to be, do the things we want to do, have the things we want to have. And that comes with managing stress. Stress is the enemy and it stands in the way of success. And so it is our responsibility to make sure that we are managing it. And that means that we are integrating, adapting, and eliminating stressors. We are not ignoring, blaming, withdrawing, distracting, because those types of behavior will make sure that stress is chronic in our lives, because we're not really solving the problem. We're just moving it out the way until it appears again. And we want to be able to eliminate any stressor in our lives. So please share with me below. What do you think about the limit, learn, and listen model? Have you read Unstressable? How do you use those practices, limit, learn, and listen in your everyday life? It is something that I teach, although I didn't quite teach it like that. So I think that this is a wonderful mechanism to use in my teachings on how to help people to practically manage their stress. Although we are super busy, and most of the environments that we're in do not care if we're stressed out or not, right? They will continue to operate regardless. And so it's in our best interest to care about our health and well-being and make it a priority. There isn't one day that you do not experience stress, especially in this world. So there isn't one day that you shouldn't be managing stress. I'm a stress management coach and I still experience stress. So if I'm experiencing stress, I know you are too. So together we could build a community of practice where we are countering stress with wellness. And I am always out here on these inner streets creating these communities for us to thrive together. We deserve that. We have one life and we deserve to thrive. So please share with me, what are your comments? Share with me, what do you think about the 3 L's? How is this showing up in your life? Do you manage stress? Do you think that you can manage stress? Could you learn more from managing stress? I would love to know what your thoughts are. And I will be back, I think, next week for part 3. And if not, I've read a couple of other books, so I'm doing a bunch of book reviews, but I will have one for you next week. And don't forget, at the top of January, we are starting our free book club, Brain Train book Club, and we will be meeting Sundays at 5 o'clock, just to kind of discuss a book each month. It'll be a new book. So January's book is Who Moved My Cheese. So it's a quick read. You can read it in 45 minutes to an hour, and we're going to discuss it. It has some discussion questions in the back. So please look out on my website, my Eventbrite, for that Zoom link. It will be every Sunday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. So, as always, work life warriors, thanks for joining our community of practice. We are going to continue to create a community of our counterculture of wellness, right? We want to be each other's support and make sure that we are thriving together, not just surviving, but we deserve to thrive, and we can do it together as a community. So I will see you on these inner streets, and I will talk to you tomorrow for Monday Stress Management Well Chat. Have a great day. Bye.